There's one car that takes you anywhere you want to go. The Model T. Strong, sturdy, with a will of its own. Here's how they put them together at the Highland Park plant. A car comes off the end of the line every 10 seconds.
Henry Ford was the most famous American business icon of his generation and became one of the richest and most well-known people in the world. Henry Ford revolutionized the automobile industry and adopted techniques we still use today. Born July 30th, 1863, he grew up on a prosperous family farm in Dearborn, Michigan. At an early age, he showed an interest in mechanical things, but a dislike for the family farm work. So at 16 years old in 1879, Ford left home for the nearby city of Detroit to work as an apprentice mechanist. Henry worked on various things between operating or repairing steam engines, finding occasional work in a Detroit factory, and overhauling his father's farm implements. In 1891, Ford took a step further in achieving his dream. Ford became an engineer with Edison Illuminating Company in Detroit. Ford's next big achievement was his promotion to chief engineer in 1893 that gave him enough time and money to devote attention to his personal experiments on internal combustion engines.
Many believe that Henry Ford invented the automobile. He didn't, but it's a popular misconception. It's a tribute to the man who made owning a car possible for millions. A vast organization sprang from his desire to make automobiles for the great multitude. But one car stands above the rest. The car that made it all possible, the Model T.
The Ford Motor Company was incorporated in 1903 with Henry Ford as vice president and chief engineer. They produced a couple cars a day and a few men worked on each car. This would soon change with the introduction of the Model T in 1908. The Model T was a reasonably priced and sturdy car, and it was very efficient. With the Model T came the assembly line. Henry Ford was not the inventor of the assembly line, but was the first to apply it to cars, and he changed the industry forever. Initially, it took 14 hours to assemble a Model T car. By improving his mass production methods, Ford reduced this to 1 hour and 33 minutes. In 1925, Ford was producing 10,000 cars every 24 hours. By 1927, he had sold over 15 million Model T cars. Ford also paid his workers very well. He doubled their wages from $2.50 to $5 a day. Henry Ford, thus, was an average American with a dream and through hard work achieved success. Cars were usually originally only seen for the rich, but he changed that by inventing something for all. He is truly an American icon. Much like Henry Ford, there's another man who revolutionized his field. His name was Alfred Hitchcock.
Thank you. It's sad when a mother has to speak the words that condemn her own son, but I couldn't allow them to believe that I would commit murder. They'll put him away now, as I should have, years ago. He was always bad, and in the end he intended to tell them I killed those girls and that man, as if I could do anything except just sit and stare, like one of his stuffed birds. Well, they know I can't even move a finger, and I won't. I'll just sit here and be quiet, just in case they do suspect me. They're probably watching me. Well, let them. Let them see what kind of a person I am. I'm not even going to swat that fly. I hope they are watching. They'll see. They'll see, and they'll know, and they'll say, why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
Alfred Hitchcock set a new standard for suspense and horror movies, mastering the art using his revolutionary technique, all the while intriguing the audience and capturing their attention and satisfaction.
The audience already aware that a monster was around, so they were apprehensive.
Here, Hitchcock explained some of his techniques used in his hit movie, Psycho.
So I have this man mounting the stairs in what we would call a medium shot, a waist shot. And he gets to the top of the stairs. Then I take the camera and put it very, very high. Way, way high. Above the ceiling, almost. As though we're looking down on the whole thing. And a little figure runs out with a raised knife. And the hand goes up with the knife into the air and starts to bring it down. Now remember, these are two tiny figures. Then the next cut is a big head of the man as the knife goes across his face. Now, this is size of image put together to create shock. In other words, if it were music, it would be tremolos on the violin and suddenly a brass instrument, which is the big close-up. And from that he fell and went back. So there's an illustration of using the size of the image to create shock, or whatever you will.
Hitchcock started his film career in London, England, where he lived, but moved to Hollywood and started filming there in 1940, helping with a movie called He made over 50 movies in his career, some of which were even redone as modern movies. For example, Hitchcock's Rear Window, starring James Stewart, was used as an idea to create today's recent movie, Disturbia.
Wait a minute.
Hitchcock also helped to bring many old legends of the film industry to fame, such as Grace Kelly, who starred in other films such as Dial M for Murder, James Stewart, starring in films such as It's a Wonderful Life, and Ian Hunter, who starred in both a theatrical movie and television series of The Adventures of Robin Hood. All in all, Hitchcock was able to use his techniques, ideas, and stars in order to create classic movies that set the base for today's films. He is, in the American eyes, an icon. Thus, Henry Ford and Alfred Hitchcock have set a standpoint for today's works of art. Ford had revolutionized the automobile industry through his use of the assembly line, while Hitchcock had perfected his field in the use of technique and captivating his audience. They are the icons that America is proud to put at the top of the shelf.